What's going on, guys? Thank you so much for tuning into today's Table Talk. I have a very special guest with me today. This is Anthony. This is my mentor. This is somebody that got me in the very, very beginning, taught me all the foundation of like what it is I know when it comes to nutrition, exercise, training in general, and a lot about life. So without further ado, Anthony.
Thank you. Watching your development and everything, I feel like I'm actually here to learn, but I appreciate the intro.
I wish, maybe one day. So, go ahead, you want to tell me any more about yourself? Or?
Well, I've been training in the training business for about 30 years, so I can probably tell from the gray in the beard. I started off as a typical small kid coming out of high school, tipping the scales somewhere around $1.14, $1.15. And girlfriend was about a pound heavier than me. And I went to Purdue my freshman year of college. They had a little bit later bar hours. And we're out the one night and she was joking around. We're both throwing a couple back. And if you know me, I got like no alcohol tolerance. So it dawned on her, if a bar fight broke out, that it was probably going to be her that had to break it up, not me. And that was kind of my cue to get into training.
Yeah.
So I've always kind of been interested in science, but as I started to work out, started to see some changes, went all the way up to 185 pounds in 6 months. And I was really blessed to, Chad Coy competes in strongman, kind of took me under his wing, made me his project, and set the wheels in motion. From there, it was just like the passion about learning, like how to make the progress, and everything just drove me to want to learn more and more and more. And all my buddies started coming up to me and they're like, hey man, what are you doing? Like, can we work out with you? So I'm like, sure. So I've got this gaggle of about 10 guys running around with me. We're working out, and the guy who was training me, Chad, he's like, you should probably charge your buddies and make you some extra money so you could train more frequently. And I was like, I don't want to charge them, they're my buddies. He's like, that's what trainers do. So kind of fell into the business side of it, but really fortunate to start on the right foot there. Through the years, really worked with people a lot smarter than me, and that's why I'm where I am. I had the blessing of Dr. Serrano's guidance, Charles Poliquin, who I consider to be both of them my mentors, Ian King, JL, I'm sure we'll talk more about these people, but yeah, just as they say, surround yourself with people smarter than you, so make it your goal to be the dumbest in the room, and for me that's usually not too hard.
And this room, he's the smartest, I promise. So you said Serrano, Charles, JL, Ian King, those would be like 4 people that you would say that like you've really learned from the most.
Chad Coy was my first trainer. Chad was, at the time, assistant strength and conditioning coach for Purdue University, and strong background in powerlifting. He gave me kind of a foundation in the basics. When I first came across Charles Poliquin's material, I was just fascinated by it. Everything was, I've got a really logical, math-minded brain, and for everything that he wrote, there was a reason for it, so that it kind of checked the boxes for me. Yeah. So I just latched onto his stuff. In fact, before he officially had a certification, there was a certification he offered. It was from a small publishing group in Canada, Dayton Publishing. It took me about 6 weeks to track them down and make contact with them, because this is before there was really like internet. Yeah. So I wrote them, I got a copy of the manual, studied it, and that was like my first certification. And through the years, did everything in print. Basically, as soon as it came out hot off the press, I'd read it and apply it. That's the biggest thing, when you're taking the information in, you have to make it useful and apply it. My mom just had this knack for, she could kind of get my foot in the door with anybody, so I've been trying for years to get a hold of Charles. Without me knowing, my mom reached out to Charles and Caroline at the Poliquin Group and told him, my son absolutely loves training, he's read everything about you. spent 2 hours on the phone talking to him, and anybody that knows Charles Pollock, and their jaw's going to drop when they hear that. He's not generally a social person, but
Not at all.
really enjoyed talking to my mom, and he invited me out to do his certification. He and Caroline did. I did the training certification out there, and then invited me to the biosignature, and it just perpetuated from there.
Yeah.
Similar introduction with Dr. Serrano. I've been trying to get in, and his name was familiar with me, but it's hard to get in to see him, and my mom managed to make that happen too, so love my mom, God bless her.
Yeah. That, so it's actually so funny, like you bring up Serrano, you bring up Pollock, and so background, like I was in college, like when I started with you. He was my teacher at the American School of Technology, where I decided to double up on school because I was like, okay, I really want to take this training thing serious and that sort of thing. Like you guys have heard my background before. And anyway, Anthony was a teacher. I was very fortunate that he was. Like I said, learning from those people that are all world class. Like if you guys don't know who those people are, you definitely need to look them up. They're awesome at what they do. It's funny, like I remember I had just gone out on my own, 2015. I had just left Lifetime, which he helped me get the job at. And so I go out on my own, and you had mentioned Swiss conference. I was like, man, that's awesome. You know, like I was making a ton more money than what I was at Lifetime, so like obviously I had the funds to go. So drove up to Canada, and he was like, oh, Serrano's gonna be there, Ian King's gonna be there, Charles is gonna be there. I had already met JL and stuff, and great guy. And it was funny just because, like, you know, like watching the videos of Ian and like everything you had to say about Charles and obviously Serrano, never getting to meet them. It was funny. As soon as I was around Eric, I just like clung to him. I was just asking him question after question after question and just talking to him. And anyway, he was like, yeah, come around. And towards the end of the weekend, that's actually like how I got into Eric's office. He's like, just call my office on Monday. He's like, come and set up an appointment. Just come in. And there was obviously some big business stuff about buying gyms and stuff like that I tried to do in the past. He tried to get me in. And the one main memory I have of Charles, not only was the lecture that he gave at that Swiss conference, but also when we saw him at dinner. That was hilarious. Like you talked to him, like he like responded back and forth with you and Ashley for a little bit, and then like when you introduced him to me, like it was just kind of like a just dead like silence. And I was like, after we left, I remember looking at you. I was like, man, you were right. That man is a man of very, very few words. That was hilarious.
The silent Bob of training.
Yeah. No,
yeah.
It was almost like a death glare, like almost like, who are you? And then he was like, nice to meet you. And then like that was the end of the conversation. I was like, well, I talked to Charles Paul.
Yeah.
But so what out of those four people, who do you feel like has had the most influence on you as a person?
As a person, honestly, it's a difficult question to answer because I think as a person, close friend and also great strength coach, JL, has really had a significant impact on me. Just his way of looking at things, I really identify with.
Yeah.
And the books that he's pointed me in the direction of, the life advice he's given me, the business advice he's given me. I think that he's really somebody that I admire in all those categories as well as strength training. So not to downplay the significance of Dr. Serrano, has been like a father to me. He's really taken the time to teach me, let me learn from him, as had Charles. But for the types of things that I encounter every day and interaction with the clientele that I work with, and just somebody that's around me regularly enough to know my strengths and weaknesses and give me some advice and guidance as to things I can do to improve that. I feel like JL probably had the most significant impact on me.
Yeah, JL, just background on him, powerlifter out of Westside Barbell. Great person. He's got 2 gyms here in Columbus as well. They're training facilities. Super knowledgeable. He's developed RPR. He's just very, very smart. Really, I've learned a lot from him, just like I said, indirectly through you, and then just talking to him to myself. Great person. Like, yeah, definitely an awesome individual for sure. It's so funny because like I'll never, like the very first time you introduced me to him, like, you know, we're in class and everything, and he goes, you know, what do you have to be a trainer? And, you know, all of us are like, oh, you gotta have education, you gotta have this, you gotta have that. He's like, no, you gotta have a fucking t-shirt that says trainer on it. He's like, you don't need anything. And I'm like, okay, like that's like well played. And,
Perfect example, yeah.
He's like, what you guys all said was to be a good trainer. He's like, I was just talking about being a trainer. He's like, but he's always got a very, he's just got the right way of looking at things. You know what I mean? Like, keep it simple, stupid, I guess would be the best way, I guess, to describe that thought process, at least, that I got from him. But yeah, it's amazing how one person can say the right words and it clicks with you better than if I said ABC, you know, that might not register with you, but somebody says CBA, you got it all the way, you know. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. This is our first Table Talk with Anthony. Obviously, want to have him back for more. Again, like, subscribe, turn on the post notifications. You guys have to check those people out. They're absolutely groundbreaking in this industry. If you want to do anything fitness related, those 4 people are definitely going to teach you a thing or two. Till next time.